Hi everybody, and welcome back to Christmas Storybook Time. I'm Miss Brenda and I am so glad you came back to hear a new story tonight with me. Buenas noches y gracias por regresar para oír nuevos cuentos navideños para niños. Yo soy Brenda y me alegro que estés conmigo esta noche otra vez. Voy a leer un libro en inglés y después un libro que yo digo que es Spanglish, un poquito de inglés y español. Now, for those of you kids that just stay for the English book and then stop watching because the other one's in Spanish and maybe you don't understand, I want you to stick around because that book is going to be in Spanglish. So it's a little English, a little Spanish, and it's a lot of fun. So please stick around. But first, we're going to read The Snowman's Song, a Christmas story by Marilee Joy Mayfield. Let's get into our story. It's true, you know, that people of snow send their thoughts around without making a sound. Their feelings become small jewels of pure ice, and they sense these frost drops like a snowy cold spice. I want to sing, the little snowman sent this thought to his mother. I want to go a-caroling, like a happy child with a silvery voice. It's Christmas time. I want to rejoice. Snow people can't sing, his mother thought sadly. We're made of snow, and it makes no sound. A child of snow doesn't have a voice. I'm sorry, my son, you don't have a choice. But her little son, Snowman, had so many strong wishes. He wanted to share that he made a windstorm of whirling thought air. I want my voice to be like church bells or like harps that angels play in the clouds. I want my voice to be bright, happy, and loud, so all the people and creatures of earth will hear my proud hymn to our Savior's birth. A tiny bright bird with a darting quick pace wrapped her feet on his tree arm and sang near his face. Her thoughts formed soft snow notes so sweet and clear, he almost felt he had ears to hear. Why can't I sing like you? Thought the little snowman. Of course you can. She sent this thought back to him as she touched his snow head with the tip of her wing. But first, you really need to believe that no matter what anyone thinks back to you, it just isn't true that a snowman can't sing. How can I do that? Everyone tells me I don't have a choice. I'll never make music or have my own voice. I'm not sure how you do it, she sent back her warm thoughts. I just know before you can change who you are, you have to believe. Feel it deep in your heart. Think strong thoughts in your mind. Even when there's no hope, you must see a star. So the sad little snowman put on a brave face. He worked hard to replace his doubts and his fears with thoughts of sweet songs, music, bells ringing, and choirs. Deep in his heart, like a candlelit fire, his bright wish remained, his one heart's desire. The sun always cheered him. At dawn, he felt strong. He tried to have hope that his voice would soon flower. Would this be the day? Would this be the hour? But his spirit grew weak as the day became long. Each day was a chance to make a new start, but by night he cried ice and felt sad in his heart. Sometimes he looked up for signs in the sky, but nothing was happening. He couldn't make sounds. Despite all his wishing, no one seemed aware that deep in the park, in the snow, he was there. But one day he woke up and something was new. The morning was crisp, the sky was bright blue. He felt powdery footsteps. Mommy, look what I found! A small girl stood near him. Then she jumped up and down. Her eyes were so happy, her thoughts like bright light. Her warm voice was filled with pure Christmas delight. He's such a cute snowman. Could I stay and play for a while? Of course you can, dear. I'll be right here. Just have a good time. For most of the day, she played beside him. She straightened his hat and turned up its brim. She draped her red winter scarf around his middle. She sang him 3 songs and she told him a riddle. Then she dangled her store-bought glass beads and charms all over his long carrot nose and both arms. "Do you think he can hear me?" she asked her mother. "Are you crazy?" sneered her big brother. He rolled his eyes. "Who told you those lies? Snowman can't hear anything that you say." "Let's go home," said her mom. "We'll come back another day." But the little girl didn't want to go home. Her once joyful thoughts took a more somber tone. She ran up to the side of his sad, snowy face and whispered these words, which felt like an embrace. "I know you can hear me. I really believe it. I think you are special. I'll never forget the day that we spent. I hear your music even though you can't speak." And then she leaned over and kissed his cold cheek. He wanted so much to sing just one small note, but nothing would come from his cold, hard snow throat. If only she knew, he could hear in his head the sweet, gentle grace of the words she had said. But something was happening. He just didn't know, for where she had kissed him, she left a warm glow. And little by little, the snow melted spaces, leaving tiny pearl strings of small open spaces. From the side of his face to the base of his throat, like the holes in a flute that play very high notes. The night before Christmas was the worst night he'd had. All around there was music. Everyone seemed so glad. He silently stood in his place in the park. His feelings were frozen. His thoughts were so dark. His mother was worried. She felt his despair, and she tried to send comfort to him through the air. He knew that she cared, but his cold, heavy silence was too sad to be shared. The loss of his dreams was too much to shoulder, and they wouldn't come back even if he had told her. He bowed his head and shut his eyes tight. Snow was starting to fall. It was such a cold night. With the last ounce of courage that only faith brings, his thoughts formed this prayer with frost-covered wings. "Please let me sing a song filled with light. Then my life will be perfect. My thoughts will be right. And all the sweet sounds angels use to stop doubt will burst forth from my heart and out of my mouth, like a powdery snow over this holy night." He almost missed her soft steps in the snow. She was holding a candle that gave a warm glow. It was the small girl. She had brought him a gift. She sensed all his tears. His soul needed a lift. Round his neck there was tinkling like spoons hitting glass. She had made him a necklace in her 2nd grade class. Silver bells, gold stars, and snowflakes of blue. It was beautifully fashioned, and it made music too. This gesture of kindness made his heart feel so light. His spirit was lifted. He forgot all his sorrow. No more thoughts of tomorrow. No more thoughts of the past. He just loved this one moment. He wanted to freeze it just so it would last. Then the winter wind came with a huge, forceful blast. The tinkling bell necklace swirled round very fast, and all of a sudden, the holes near his face blew out lyrical sounds like a heavenly flute. The whole world stood in place. His dream was fulfilled. He was no longer mute. His song was spring rains and violin strings, the fragrance of flowers and hummingbird wings, words of great kindness, the faith in our hymns, the shine in our eyes, and a little girl's whims. More joyful than angels, more peaceful than sleep, filled with longing and prayers and memories to keep. All the love in his mind, all the light in his soul, his dreams for the future, his hopes to be whole, were the notes of his music, his own unique psalm. Her soft, giving spirit had made his thoughts calm. She knew he had heard her. It was golden and true. The wonder of Christmas surrounded these two. For this sweet frozen moment, this small speck of time, in heaven and earth, everything was sublime. Isn't that a sweet story? Oh, I like how his dream came true. He just wanted to make music. Just like the songs we sing at Christmas time in church. Isn't it cool that those same songs are playing in the mall or at stores? Christmas is everywhere, and we can sing too, in our hearts and out loud. Okay, are you ready for our next book? We're going to read Twas Nochebuena. Vamos a leer el libro Twas Nochebuena by Roseanne Greenfield Thong. ¿Están listos? Everybody ready? Twas Nochebuena, and all through our casa, every creature was kneading tamale masa. For one of our holiday tradiciones is making tamales, not one, but montones. And every last person, both chicas and chicos, is needed to make our tamales taste ricos. We stuff them with pollo, with queso and meat, and steam them in corn husks and leaves. What a treat! Our lovely adornos are hung up with cheer, in hopes that amigos soon will be here. Small figures of wise men, los reyes, and sheep. A tiny clay cama where baby can sleep. In the corner, an árbol that's covered with bells, twinkling luces, red ribbons, and shells. When our guests all arrive, we stroll down to the park and join the posadas that start when it's dark. With homemade faroles that glow in the night, we'll sing canciones by soft candlelight. From casa to casa, parading we go, remembering stories from days long ago. Le pido posada is our humble plea. Can you offer a shelter? We ask hopefully. The first houses do not agree, but the very last house will always say, sí. Then, back to our family fiesta we race, to snuggle up close by the brick fireplace, and treat all our shivering invitados to warm mugs of chocolatey champurrado. We clink our glass marbles and play loteria, while singing and laughing, que maravilla! When out in the jardín I hear such a clatter, I spring from my silla to shout, what's the matter? The children are cheering below a great star, a brilliant piñata made out of a jar. Come, Sonia, come, Alma, Luis, and Martín. It is time for our favorite games to begin. Dale, dale, hit it, they cry. Uno, dos, tres. Now it's your try. A shower of candy soon falls to el suelo. We chase after gum and sweet caramelo. Then off in the distance, campanas chime, telling us all that it's nearly time for Misa de Gallo, our mass late at night. With candles aglow, it's a beautiful sight. We sing all our favorite canciones with choirs of angels up in the balcones. And when it is over, we get a surprise as colorful fireworks paint the night skies. Then, back to our houses we happily run, knowing our cena has finally begun. With pots full of grandmother's steaming pozole and sauce for our turkey, a treat we call mole. And just when we've eaten as much as we can, we hear a loud sizzle from grandmother's pan. The children all cheer as they wait for their treat, buñuelos with cinnamon sugar so sweet. With satisfied bellies and sleepy eyes, we head to the sala for one last surprise. Giggling and cheering, we dash for the tree, where regalos are waiting for you and for me. We open our cards that were chosen with care, as long strands of cinta fly out everywhere. A smile from papi, a kiss from a friend, and many abrazos that don't seem to end. Now our friends are all tired from fun and fiestas. It is time to go home for a long night's siesta. Merry Christmas, they cheer as they head out of sight. Feliz Navidad, and to all a good night. Isn't that so much fun? Me encanta este libro. Y me encanta que son los dos idiomas, porque aquí en Miami hablamos como Spanglish. Ojalá le gustó. Y por favor, regresa la semana que viene. Vamos a tener un cuento más antes de la Navidad. I hope you all enjoyed these stories, and I really hope you'll come back next week for our last stories before Christmas. So I'll see you then. Have a great week. Buenas noches.